Ethan Caldwell, a reserve software engineer from a wealthy Australian family, hides his fortune to test the love of his girlfriend, Sophie, a law student he supported through her $20,000 degree. After years of funding her education and living modestly, Ethan discovers Sophie's betrayal at her graduation party, where she publicly dismisses him as insignificant. Fueled by hurt and resolve, Ethan methodically dismantles her professional prospects, leveraging his hidden influence to expose her deceit and secure justice for himself and others she manipulated. This story, told in 5 chapters, explores love, deception, and the quiet power of reclaiming one's worth. What would you do if you discovered someone you loved betrayed you for personal gain? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more gripping tales of resilience and truth. I'm Ethan Caldwell, a 32-year-old software engineer at Nexus Innovations in Sydney, Australia. To my colleagues, I'm the guy in the corner cubicle, debugging code, sipping black coffee from a chipped mug, and wearing the same 3 button-downs on rotation. They don't know I'm the sole heir to Caldwell Enterprises, a mining and property conglomerate that owns half the commercial real estate in New South Wales. For 3 years, I've lived a lie, not for fun, but to test Sophie Turner, the woman I thought I'd marry. I met Sophie, a law student at the University of Sydney, at a volunteer coding workshop for underprivileged youth. She was sharp, ambitious, with auburn hair and a laugh that could light up a room. When she spilled her coffee on my laptop, she apologized profusely, and we clicked instantly. A month later, I moved into a modest flat in Newtown to be near her campus, driving her to classes in my beat-up Holden Commodore. By 6 months, I was wiring $5,000 per semester for her tuition, plus rent and groceries. I didn't mind. I wanted Sophie to love Ethan, the coder scraping by on a $70,000 salary, not Ethan Caldwell, whose trust fund could buy her law school outright. Every Friday, I'd leave work, swap my faded jeans for a tailored suit in the basement of the Park Hyatt, and drive my leased Tesla to our family estate in the Blue Mountains. There, marble floors, infinity pool, and a private wine cellar waited, worlds away from the creaky flat where Sophie and I shared instant noodles. My father, James Caldwell, disapproved. "How long will you play this game, Ethan?" he asked, swirling a glass of Shiraz in his office. "Until I know she loves me, not my money," I replied, glancing at the silver promise ring Sophie gave me at a beachside cafe, a symbol I thought meant sacrifice. For 3 years, I balanced 2 lives, the coder who budgeted for fuel and the heir who could buy the petrol station. Sophie never questioned how I covered her $20,000 degree or our bills. She'd kiss my cheek, saying, "Ethan, you're so grounded. With you, I feel safe." I'd smile, slipping tuition checks into her law books with notes like, "Don't skip lunch." She never noticed my work backpack was a repurposed designer bag, its logo carefully removed. But signs emerged. Sophie's old phone was replaced with a new iPhone, claimed to be a gift from a study group. She started coming home late from moot court prep, her textbooks untouched. I found receipt for a $1,500 bracelet in her coat pocket, dated a night she said she was studying. She laughed it off as a fake from a market stall. I wanted to believe her, so I did, until I slipped a GPS tracker into her car key. It led me to a luxury apartment in Surrey Hills, where she parked 2 nights in a row. One night, I cooked her favorite, lamb roast with rosemary, waiting until 10:12 p.m. She texted, stuck at the library, contract law. But her car was at that Surrey Hills complex, and when she returned, her scarf carried a whiff of perfume, sharp and expensive, not hers. "Long day at the law school," she said, avoiding my eyes. I nodded, serving her cold dinner, my trust unraveling. I didn't confront her. Instead, I dug deeper. On her old phone, not fully wiped, I found messages from Clara, a name she'd mentioned as a distant friend. One read, "Can't wait for Saturday at the Quay. Wear that bracelet. It's stunning." Another, "Don't text anything obvious. He's clueless but careful." My stomach churned. I cross-checked receipts. $220 dinner at a Circular Quay restaurant, $900 shoes from a boutique. All on nights she claimed to be studying. I reached out to Clara, posing as a friend of Sophie's, and met her at a Bondi cafe. She was a paralegal, guarded but curious. "Sophie said your fiancé," Clara said, sipping an oat latte. "Not anymore." I replied, "How much did she take from you?" Clara's eyes widened. $12,000 over a year. She said it was for her degree, that she was struggling. She showed me a Venmo history under an alias Sophie used, payments from two other men, Ryan and Liam. She called us her sponsors, Clara admitted. I thought I was helping her dream. Back home, I found Sophie's locked journal in her desk. Inside, clinical lists, Ryan, marketing exec, $10,500, ended after 8 months. Liam, accountant, $15,000, too clingy, terminated. Ethan, software engineer, $20,000 plus, stable, no suspicion, ideal for post-grad plans. The last entry, Amelia, daughter of a QC, high-value network, testing loyalty, potential to replace Ethan. My hands shook. I wasn't her love, I was her portfolio. Sophie's graduation party was at the Shangri-La Hotel, funded by me through shell companies under Caldwell Enterprises. One for catering, one for decor, one for AV. She thought it was a department gift. I arrived in a navy suit, the promise ring still on my finger for the last time. The ballroom sparkled, fairy lights and jazz filling the air. Sophie stood with her mother, Diane, a sharp-tongued barrister, and a woman in a gold dress, Amelia. I presumed. I approached, but Diane intercepted. "Ethan, right? I assumed you'd be working late at that tech job." Her tone dripped with disdain. Before I could respond, Sophie laughed at her friends. "Oh, Ethan? He's just my flatmate, keeps the bills paid." The group chuckled, Amelia's hand lingering on Sophie's arm. My heart sank, but I stayed calm. At the main table, I removed the ring, dropped into Sophie's champagne glass, and said, "Congratulations, Sophie. Hope your next sponsor's as generous." I walked out, her stunned silence louder than the jazz. I didn't return to the Newtown flat. I drove to my harborside penthouse, untouched for 3 years, its views of the opera house gleaming. I called my father. "It's over. I'm ready to be a Caldwell again." He didn't gloat, just said, "Good. Let's clean this up." At Nexus, I stepped into a boardroom I'd avoided, now as Ethan Caldwell, heir to Caldwell Enterprises. I met Dr. Helen Voss, head of the university's law alumni network. I presented a dossier, wire transfers, Clara's screenshots, Sophie's journal. "This isn't personal," I said. "It's about integrity in your profession." Within days, Sophie's article clerkship offer at a top-tier firm was rescinded, cited as ethical concerns. I hired a lawyer, Emma Riley, specializing in financial deceit. With Clara and 2 others, Ryan and Liam, we built a case for restitution. No public scandal, just quiet settlements. Diane's law firm, reliant on Caldwell land deals, lost key contracts after a single call from our legal team. Sophie texted, "You're ruining everything. Stop." I forwarded it to Emma. By spring, Sophie was clerking at a small suburban firm, far from Sydney's legal elite. Whispers of her sponsor list circulated in law forums, anonymous but damning. At a legal gala, I saw her in a borrowed dress. Standing alone, her confidence gone. I didn't approach. As the new director of Caldwell's philanthropy arm, I gave a speech. True support lifts everyone, but trust must be earned. Sophie's eyes met mine, and she looked away, a shadow of the woman who betrayed me. I wasn't celebrating revenge. I was honoring the Ethan who believed in love, and the one who learned to value himself. Sophie's future wasn't destroyed. She'd built it on lies, and I just pulled the curtain back.